Hello there, how are you? Welcome back to How I Did It. Today's video is part 2 on my Mighty Mule automatic gate opener. Now I had the remote on the visor of the Jeep, I have the external keypad, and now I'm putting my exit sensor, the automatic sensor. Parking garages, all the different places have it. You go to leave, it registers the metal on your vehicle and automatically opens up the little arm, or in this case my gate. Now the directions are showing this along the side of the driveway. I opted to put this in the center of the driveway only because later on I may have fencing or whatever along the sides of the driveway, but I know I'm not going to be digging down in the center of the fence. Now key here is hopefully you saved your Mighty Mule gate instructions, because it has all these accessory instructions within that manual. Very straightforward, very simple to follow as far as the wire colors and whatnot go. Probably the hardest part of this was getting this waterproof rubber coating off of these wires so that I would have wire to wire into the Mighty Mule control box and then over to my 12-volt battery. But as you can see, I finally got it going, and then it's just a matter of kind of spinning things back off of it. Turn off the power to the Mighty Mule and then just set your instructions right there and then match up your colors. The blue is for the exit spot specifically on this controller. The black is your common. And then they have a yellow wire and it's orange, not even red. The yellow wire and the ground wire go to the ground, or the black on the battery, and that orange wire goes over to the positive. Very straightforward. Now, this video ended up running twice as long only because I opted to do a rough install just to make sure that the sensor itself would work before I even started digging up the driveway. The other thing that I opted to do on this install was put a chase across by the gate, so if I want to run power underneath the gate for any reason. I also put a second piece of 1/2 inch PEX pipe, or actually that's 3/4 inch PEX pipe, under there, so I could run from the control box here over to the other side of the fence where my solar panel is going to mount to charge this battery. But the beauty of it is that's a 100 amp hour battery. I still haven't charged it since I've done the Mighty Mule gate install. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, here's just the yellow wire, and that grounding wire goes on there. The other orange/red wire goes on the positive. Turn it on and then get the tractor and bring it up to the sensor just to make sure that it was going to work, and as you can see, it does. As a matter of fact, I put the shovel over the top of it and it made the gate open. It's that sensitive. It's really pretty neat. This is going to be great for those afternoon thunderstorms. Instead of having to get out, get soaking wet to open the gate, to move the Jeep through, to come back, close the gate, to go back and get into the Jeep, and by then you're soaking wet, because our afternoon thunderstorms or just that, a storm, lasts for about an hour, hour and a half, just enough to soak you. The other thing, I have this thing set on auto close, so you don't even have to hit a button once you go through to close the gate. Same thing for the sensor. When you go over the sensor, the gate opens, and then just in that time period, the gate will automatically close. So at this point, I was like, alright, time for me to get to work digging. The easy work was over, and if I had thought this through, I maybe would have done one morning of putting the sensor in and then coming back the next morning to do the digging. As you see, there's a lot of roots. I did not have I think they call it a fish tape to feed through the conduit that I used, the PEX pipe that I used as conduit. So I was just using a piece of, I think it was 12 gauge wire to feed through there, so I could grab that sensor wire and pull it back through. A lot of hand shoveling here, but it got done. The hardest part was the temperatures. I think the heat index was like 104 or 107 that day. It was hot. You know, it was only like 97 or 94, 97 out, but it was just hot. So this red PEX pipe is extra PEX that I had out here at the off-grid barn from installing my hot water. Rather than sending it back, I just held on to it. Well, now I'm really grateful that I did, with the price of conduit being outrageous, and the fact that these PEX pipes, and you'll see in a minute the yellow gas like PEX pipe, conduit, whatever, it's a solid pipe. Nothing's glued. You don't ever have to worry about a leak or whatever getting in there, and it is just so much cheaper than the regular conduit that you are going to pay for now in the store, or that you would have to buy now in the store. Anyway, this was pretty simple. The sensor, they say bury it about 12 inches down, which that was about 12 inches. And then the other thing that I opted to do on this PEX was mark on there 12 volt low voltage 12 volts. There we go, low voltage 12 volts. Just in case, you know, I die, my son sells his property, somebody goes to dig this up, they'll know that that red PEX pipe out there is not a water line, it's not a high voltage line or anything. It's a low voltage 12 volt continuous conduit. Anyway, I opted to go with the yellow gas conduit as a electrical chase. So say later on I decide to run electric out here, I want to bury power lines, I can actually have a solid piece of the yellow gas pipe, and on it again mark it that it's going to be electric, and then anything that's sticking up out of the ground, just to keep it kind of at an eye shot that it's electric, paint that gray with the pink, or with the plastic spray paint. So they even have a new glue. It's an all-purpose glue that works on PEX, PVC, the black stuff. It's really neat, and you can actually glue the electrical fittings on the top of this yellow gas pipe. It's the bomb, and it's a solid lay, so you can get 500 feet of 1.25" gas pipe for $344, where one stick of 1.25" electrical conduit is like $35. And the nice part is, if you're prior military, you get a 10% discount. You can get this at Home Depot online. Home Depot is following in Amazon's footsteps, where they're delivering for free. So it's a win-win all the way around. Anyway, with the magic of editing, everything's filled back in, and it is time for me to head back into Orlando. And as you can see, this thing is just working fantastic. Alrighty then, y'all have an absolutely wonderful and blessed day. I'll see you next time on How I Did It. Take care.